ATP Part 2 Art students. I am Mrs. Munazza and I hope you are all safe and healthy back at home, taking online classes, watching online video lessons. Today, in this video, I am going to start with you the novel that is included in your syllabus, The Old Man and the Sea, written by the famous novelist, American novelist, Ernest Hemingway. Before starting the novel, I would like you to become familiar with the writer, with the author, with the novelist, Ernest Hemingway. Students, by the way, you must have had read The Killers in part 1. That story, that short story, if you recall, was written by Hemingway. So, in a way, you are familiar with the name Ernest Hemingway and with his writing style. Anyhow, on this slide, I have written down a few facts about Hemingway. Hemingway was an American journalist, novelist, a short story writer, and a sportsman. He was an adventurous man. And in the literary circle, he had a strong influence on 20th century fiction. Though it is interesting to note that he had initially failed as a writer, and he was greatly disturbed by this. When he started his career as a journalist, soon the World War I started. So, being an enthusiastic young man who was adventurous as well, he decided to serve in the World War I. He joined the forces at the Italian front, and he served in the army as an ambulance driver. However, in the war in 1918, he got seriously injured, and he had to be detained in a military hospital. There he had fallen in love with a nurse. However, the nurse refused to accompany him to his native land, which disappointed him a lot. His wartime experiences, students, formed the basis for his novel, A Farewell to Arms, which was published in 1929. Ernest Hemingway had not only participated in World War I, but he also participated in the World War II. But after coming back, after returning from the war, he went to Cuba, and there he spent his time in fishing and writing novels and stories. In 1954, he won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and a year earlier he had won Pulitzer Prize, which was again a very prestigious prize. Hemingway's life came to an end with the suicide which he committed in 1961. The novel, The Old Man and the Sea. It was published by Hemingway in 1952, and it was a success. It was a triumphant success. This Hemingway won Pulitzer Prize on this novel in 1953. Now, this novel is basically a short heroic novel. It is a novel that is centered on the life of, not the whole life, but on the character of the old man, who is Santiago, who is the central character of the novel. The novel gives a very strong message to the audience to the target audience, to the readers, that is for you and me. And the message is uh, is very straight. It is very simple, and it is that 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 man's that it is the struggle of man that that is important in life. If you struggle to achieve your aim, then at the end, whether you achieve your aim or not, doesn't matter. What matters is your struggle. The message of the novel could also be had also been read by certain critics as uh, as the one that when a person becomes old, he lost his vigor, his physical vigor. Then at that time, he can retain his integrity by winning moral victories in life. Anyways, we will be discussing the message of the novel in detail as you will be reading the novel. Then in the novel, there are autobiographical elements which are quite prominent. The central character could be symbolizing the writer of the novelist, and the struggle of the novelist to win the Nobel Prize has been symbolized over here as the struggle of the old man, the fisherman, for catching the big fish in the sea. We will be discussing this aspect of the novel as we would do, as we would progress with the novel. Then, apart from being heroic, this novel is also a tragic novel. It's a tragedy. We can read this novel. Or we can certain we can discern the elements of classical of Greek tragedy. This novel is also Christian tragedy. How? I'll tell you as we progress with the reading, but you must keep in mind that this novel is heroic, it has autobiographical elements, and it is a tragedy. The story of the novel, in brief, that is the gist. Well, it's a story of a fisherman named Santiago who lived in who used to fish who used to fish in the Gulf Stream near Cuba. Now, this Santiago, as the novel begins, has failed to catch a single fish for 84 days. And because of his inability to catch fish, this man was being called an unlucky fellow by other people, especially by the younger fishermen. However, he was respected by the older fishermen because they knew that this old fisherman was a skillful was a skillful person, was a skillful fisherman. As the novel begins, we find the old man, that is Santiago, talking, having conversation with the young boy Manuelin, and the old man is quite optimistic for catching a big fish the very next day, which is the 85th day. And in the 85th day, he sets out very early in the morning. He ventured deep into the sea and quite confidently, quite skillfully, as he was an experienced fisherman, he set his lines, and soon he caught one fish in one line. But there was the problem. The fish was also the fish also started struggling for its life, and this fish then kept on towing the boat of the old fisherman for 3 successive days, during which the old man endured physical uh, physical pains, physical injuries as well. But he kept on waiting patiently for the fish to get tired so that it would come up on the surface, and then he could kill it with his club or his gears, with one of his gears. And therefore, on the third day, when the fish came on the surface, the old man killed it. He tied it up with his skiff, with his boat, and started sailing towards the shore. But on his way back to shore, his fish was attacked by a group of sharks. The old man tried to save his goal, his fish, and and he killed many sharks, but the number of sharks was more than this single man who was fighting against them. Therefore, for unluckily, the marlin, the whole of the marlin was eaten up by the sharks, and only its skeleton was left. When he returned to the shore, he came back with the skeleton of the fish that was still tied to the skiff, to his boat. He went to his shack and and slept, as he was very tired, and soon he was lost in his dreams of sea lions, which you'll come to know, which is quite significant, as sea lions are symbolic, and these are the symbols of strength. Whenever old man used to dream of sea lions, he was yearning of strength, and the strength which he wanted to have for his next adventure. Now, the themes of the novel. Well, there are many themes. However, over here I have highlighted four major themes for your convenience. We will definitely be doing a comprehensive lesson on themes, and there we will be discussing themes of the novel in greater depth. However, for your comprehension over here, the first theme of the novel is struggle. As I have already told you, like Eliot, Hemingway believed that it is doing that matters. Success or failure are not that much important. What makes you a man in the eyes of Santiago, the central character of the novel, what makes you a man in the eye of Hemingway, in other words, is the struggle which you put in to achieve your aim, to achieve your goal. And that is what you will be seeing in the novel. Santiago fighting against the odds to catch his fish, and then fighting against the circumstances, against the sharks, to take his fish, to take his dream safe and sound back home. Determination is the second theme. Now, resolution and determination are very important, which the central character again, which the hero of the novel possesses. It is the determination of the old man that made him went deep into the sea, and it was his determination which helped him to bear all the physical strains. So determination is also very important. And again, one thing more, students, all these qualities of character you will also find in the character of the fish as well. and the character of the fish. I think I have skipped one slide. That is okay. So determination is a very important characteristic, and Hemingway also believes in it, and he has conveyed the importance of determination through his two characters of the novel. That's the fish and the fisherman Santiago. Optimism. Without hope, you can't live life. Agreed? So, Hemingway also believed in optimism, in hope. He believed that one can struggle with determination to achieve his goal if he's hopeful. It's true. If you're pessimistic, then you would not act, you would not try, you would not struggle, you would not set goals for yourself. Here in the novel, Santiago had been unlucky to catch a fish for 84 days, but we do not find him to be pessimistic. We find him claiming himself to be a strange old man. We find him claiming to be a skillful fisherman. And it is also evident, his skill, his experience is also evident from the scars on his hands and from his burnt skin. So optimism is another theme, and we'll find that from the very beginning till even at the end, where our old man returned to the shore empty-handed, where he returned without fish. Even at that point, Santiago was not disappointed. He was not pessimistic. He did not let hope slip out. He was optimistic. That's why he was dreaming about sea lions. Endurance. Now, endurance is another important theme. Only noble souls could endure odds in their lives and achieve greatness. Now, old man, that is Santiago, the central figure of the novel. He endured all the odds again, which were there in achieving his aim hurriedly, and that is why though a simple, common fisherman, a poor fisherman, his stature at the end of the novel is raised. So we will be discussing these themes in our next sessions. Structure of the novel. Now, the structure of the novel is quite simple. It's a simple story of a fisherman who goes on for fishing, and it was an important adventure of his life because it was a matter of prestige for him. He wanted to remove the tag of unlucky, or he wanted to prove to people that he was a strong, strange, experienced fisherman who knew many tricks. However, it is intricately designed. It is designed in such a way as it brought out various themes of the novel, which I have discussed on the previous slide with you. Then it is not a simple story of Santiago going to the sea, catching a big fish and coming back to the shore. No, Santiago has been made to pass through various tests of endurance. These tests he had to pass through by himself. There is no companion on the shore or on the sea with him to help him, to assist him, to comfort him. And it reminds me that loneliness is another important theme of the novel as well. And this loneliness along with endurance, tests of endurance, highlights the message, the themes of the novel. And again, the message is final success or failure does not count. Whether you fail or pass at the end does not matter as long as you have sincerely put in your utmost efforts towards achieving your ambition. So this this is this is a sketch of the whole novel, which I have tried to put in front of few students. There are people out there who would be telling you that this novel, The Old Man in the Sea, is quite a boring novel. It's a novel about an old man who is sitting with his fishing rod in a boat, waiting for the fish. Waiting for the fish to come on the surface so that he could uh, kill it. But in fact, it is a very interesting novel. If you read it closely, you will find out that that with the simple story of a fisherman, with a simple structure, with the writer has projected or has passed on to the reader his own philosophy of life, his own approach towards life. And definitely, as you will go through the novel, as you will be discussing the novel, I hope you will develop an interest in it. Definitely, it is not a romantic novel, the kind of the novels which you read in your which you read or which you would like to read. It's a serious novel. It contains a very serious message. It is the message. Its message that swing or struggle matters is in fact what we need today. Our youth today need to learn this message. All of us um, keep some ambitions in our life, and some of us try to have try to have our ambitions achieved without any struggle, without going through any hardship. Santiago, Hemingway has told us that in order to achieve something great in life, you must face difficulties. You must have certain qualities of character, and those qualities of character are endurance, patience, struggle, optimism, and it is and these all of these spiritual qualities are very important to achieve physical victory, to achieve physical healing. As I have told you, this novel has autobiographical element, and that autobiographical element is also related to this moral victory. I hope you have understood the sketch. You have understood today's lecture. Now you are a bit prepared for the reading of the novel. In the next video lesson, students, we are going to cover the introductory section of of the novel, the first part of the novel, which is from the beginning till the point where old man uh, set sail for the adventure of his life. So till then, try to go through the novel, because the actual reading of novel is very important. If you read the novel and then listen to these video lessons, excuse me, and listen to these video lessons, then this will be really beneficial for you. And one thing more regarding the questions. we will be discussing them separately after going through the novel. And uh, today's task for you is go through the first part of the novel, make try and write down the summary, a, a summary of the novel. Don't try to discern the symbolic meanings. Don't try to find a theme. Just go and read and do a plain reading, a straightforward reading of the first part of the novel. I hope you will enjoy it. So, if you have any queries regarding this lesson, you may ask me on WhatsApp group. I'm there to answer your genuine queries. Thank you very much for lending me your ear. I hope this lesson was beneficial for you. Thank you.